Hey everybody, Dan Schmidt. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Deer Talk Now. We're going to follow up last week's show on buck dispersal and talk about doe dispersal this week. It's a fascinating topic and we got some science-based research we want to present to you. This week's question comes from Joe Peel, a Twitter follower for Deer and Deer Hunting, at Deer Hunting Mag, at Twitter. And Joe wants to know, he says, I'm going to paraphrase his question. Basically, Joe says, every year it seems opening week of bow season, he can kill a yearling doe from the same stand. Why always a yearling doe? Why aren't bigger does in there? Well, Joe, it has everything to do with how does disperse in the habitat. And we're going to teach you that in this episode. For asking the question, though, we promised you a prize. We're going to get you not only one prize, you're going to get a prize pack. You're going to get a Flex Tone battle bag call. You're going to get a Whitetails calendar from Deer and Deer Hunting, our popular Whitetail Behavior DVD, and your own mama call from Woods Wise. So thanks for asking your question. If you have a question, ask us through Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, Google+, or email us. Here's today's show.
Let's take a look at life in the female society of the white-tailed deer. The white-tailed deer's social organization evolved in response to predation, disease, habitat, climate, hunting by American Indians, and other constantly changing pressures. The deer's social system is geared toward providing the basic necessities of life. Clearly, this system is an adaptation, genetically linked and inherited, and critical to the species' healthy existence. Why do deer disperse? Science-based wildlife research has shown that white-tailed deer disperse because of breeding competition. It has been proven, however, that most bucks disperse because of maternal competition. This is competition among the females in the society. All deer disperse from their birth ranges. Does live in closely knit groups of related individuals. They disperse short distances as opposed to bucks. Does have overlapping rings of socially related females. What about the effects of dispersal? There are several things at play with any kind of deer dispersal. Number one, dispersal has minimal effect on herd composition, and what I mean by that is the buck to doe ratio in socially and nutritionally balanced herds. Number two, while dispersing, deer are extremely vulnerable to mortality, namely automobile accidents and hunting harvest. However, the benefits far outweigh the consequences. What is the benefit of a deer dispersing? By dispersing, a yearling buck generally avoids inbreeding, which leads to greater genetic diversity and adaptability. This adaptability is associated with greater body weights and fat levels and, as hunters like, antler development. But what about does? Doe fawns benefit from dispersal through higher fertility rates, and does of all ages benefit from having more fawns and larger fawns. In addition, there is a lower mortality rate among buck fawns for does that have dispersed. What about some negative effects? In pockets with high deer densities, more bucks will leave than enter the area. Noted researchers Larry Marchington and Carl Miller have demonstrated that a doe-to-buck ratio can become heavily skewed toward more does in areas with higher deer densities. That's why it is very important to harvest an adequate number of does from your property every year. Let's look at some conclusions. Number one, more than 80% of all young bucks will disperse from their birthing range to avoid pressure from female relatives. For bucks, the average dispersal distance is about 2 to 20 miles from their birth range, depending upon where those deer live. For does, it's much less than that, and in most cases, a doe will not disperse more than 1 mile from where she's born, again, depending upon where she lives. Dispersal is nature's way of minimizing inbreeding among whitetails and allowing the strongest to survive. Dispersal can be gradual or abrupt. Many things factor into it, including herd composition, deer density, habitat quality, and social pressure. How does this help us as hunters? It allows us to better understand deer densities, better understand herd composition and how it works, and it underscores the need for us to harvest deer of all age classes, whether we're bow hunting or gun hunting. Well, that's it for today's show. Join us again next time when we take more of your questions on all things deer and deer hunting. I'm Dan Schmidt. Thanks for joining us. You can view all episodes of Deer Talk Now on YouTube, Facebook, and our website, www.deeranddeerhunting.com.